let me put it this way. I think our default right now should be that there's no annexations that make sense today. There are very few places and very few cities where growing horizontally is what is called for. I realize that there are defensive annexations where you acquire property in order to not have it develop in strange ways. I understand that. But I have yet, I mean, much like where should we build the next parking lot? It's one of those questions of where should we make the next insolvent investment? I struggle to find the place that makes sense. Could there be places where it did make sense to build a new parking lot? Perhaps. Could there be places where it does make sense to annex new property? Perhaps. But if you're in North America, every city here in North America, for the most part, I mean, that is in a position to annex property, has already expanded out in a way where they have more liabilities in the ground than they have tax base to sustain that. And so annexation is just, in a sense, a continuation of that insolvent development pattern. In the article I wrote for Shreveport, I try to lay that out, how I would ask the question financially, how I would approach it, and the first one here gets into priorities for spare capacity. Maybe I'll just end with this. If you have a water tower, a pump truck in your fire department, a lift station in your sewer plant, all of those things have a certain amount of capacity. And engineers will often say, if we do infill, all those things are going to be and have to be upgraded. And that's true. A lot of them have to be upgraded when we expand out on the edge as well. So expanding out on the edge and annexing property and bringing them in takes the spare capacity we have in those systems and allocates them to the most unproductive parts of the system. Even if the annexation on the edge made financial sense in and of itself, if it's robbing capacity that could go to other places that have a greater payoff for the community, I think from a pure financial sense, you have to step back and ask the question, is this a smart thing to do? And almost every time the answer is going to be no. I don't want to be like this is a blanket, like never do it, but I have never seen one that cash flowed, and I've never seen one that made sense financially. There might be the unicorn out there, but it would indeed be the unicorn.